Hold up.
Oh my, yes, it is time. We're diving on into the LinkedIn makeover. This is what is so responsible for me being able to double my salary and then attract clients and then secure a ton of clients and ultimately create the 10 days to 1K process by living it out. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So I hope you have a pen and paper ready. If you don't, this would be a good time to pause this training so that you can take notes and feel ready to take action. You ready for it? All right, phase one, your profile picture. Now, your profile picture on LinkedIn is going to be a little bit different, and we'll dive into exactly why as I show you how to update your profile picture. Phase two, your headline. Quite possibly the most important part of your entire LinkedIn profile. Your headline is essential to securing leads on LinkedIn. Phase three, your cover photo, a great way to stand out in the crowd. Phase four, your bio. As crazy as it is, this is a place where you can actually sell people on your services before you even talk to them on the phone. Phase five, you're going to join LinkedIn groups, and I'll show you why that's important when we dive on into your profile for the makeover. Phase six, recommendations. Now, recommendations are a little bit different. I'll show you kind of the ways that you can get around it if you haven't worked with clients before, or if you have worked with clients, a great way to leverage those relationships. Phase seven, education. Phase eight, skills. Phase nine, making your profile public. And phase 10, articles. So as you hop on into your profile on LinkedIn, the very first thing that I mentioned was your profile photo. This is one of the places where I actually see most people making mistakes. The goal is to have an approachable, friendly, but yet professional profile photo that attracts people to you. And remember, most of the time when people are viewing your profile, it's really, really small. So you want something that stands out. I've tested so many different profile photos. This one is the one that converts the best for where I'm at in my business right now. But generally speaking, just a smiling photo of me facing the camera is one of the best ways that you can get a great photo. And if you're uncertain as to which photo you should use on your LinkedIn profile, feel free to drop a couple of the different options that you have into the SMU Crew Facebook group and ask the community to vote and tell you which one is the best for your LinkedIn profile. Remember, it's not about where you necessarily look the best or feel the best. It's about what gives off your best foot forward. Phase two, we're going to dive on into the headline. Now, the thing about headlines is there's a couple different ways to approach them. I'm going to share with you a couple of the different ways that I've seen them used. So, for example, I currently have a benefit-based headline. It shares with business owners exactly what I do and why they would want to hire me. But another example of one that I've seen is one where you focus on benefits. For example, generate leads. And then you're going to add this interesting line thing, generate leads, organic social media growth, and fill in a couple of benefits there. Or some people do this, and I don't really recommend this. You could add a title, digital marketing strategist, and a benefit from here that you offer to business owners. So there are a couple different ways to organize it. I'm a huge fan of the simple sentence that basically shows business owners exactly what it is that you can do for them. Now, phase three is your cover photo. This is kind of fun because this is an opportunity to showcase your personality, your branding. It's an opportunity to catch people's attention because your profile will stand out. I created this simple graphic in Canva, and if I can create a graphic this simple, you can create something very beautiful, I'm sure, using Canva or Photoshop, whatever it is that you use to create graphics. Or you can simply get an image from Pexels, from Unsplash, maybe Pixabay, or even Creative Market. Phase 4 is your bio. Now keep in mind, as you'll notice here, some of the bio is actually cut off. So right now, as we're looking at my profile, it's only the first couple lines that initially show up until we click Show More. So you want those first couple of lines to really grab people's attention. Now, I haven't optimized my profile in a while. It needs a little bit of a LinkedIn makeover. But what I recommend is to feature some pretty impressive wins, whatever it is that you can stack as a win. When I stack a win, basically what that process looks like, it means that I am delivering kind of the benefits that I can give to a business owner or talking about my areas of expertise. Here, I know that there's a brag and a couple of stacked wins. And ultimately what this does is it brings in people who are going to be looking for exactly what I offer when it comes to benefits. So filling your profile with a great win stacked bio is essential. And remember, you have to make those first couple of lines really count because sometimes that's all that shows. Now, clearly I really need a LinkedIn makeover, but when possible, I highly recommend adding media. So if you've created attractive graphics or some type of lead magnet or something that represents you and your work well, I really recommend adding that media into your bio. Next up, we're going to scroll on down and take a peek at the groups that you are a part of. Now, obviously, there's a whole bunch of random stuff in here. You might be like, oh my gosh, this is so confusing, and you'll want to continue to fill it out as much as possible. But I'm focusing on the things that are going to get you the biggest bang for your buck. So when you scroll all the way down, you're going to see interests. Now, when it comes to interests, you can follow influencers, you can follow companies' pages, and you can follow groups. Now, I'm a big fan of joining groups that have your target market in them because there's actually an awesome little perk of being a part of a group that allows you to connect with more people, which is pretty cool. So I am a huge fan of thinking of what kind of groups my target market would be in. For example, Small Biz Forum, e-commerce network, executives, entrepreneurs. Yep, perfect, perfect, perfect. These are all great groups for me. So I want you to actually join a couple of groups that you think your target market is likely to be a part of. Then from there, we actually are going to focus on recommendations. Recommendations are a powerful part of your profile that not everybody thinks about. I am a huge fan of recommendations because I think it just speaks so highly to your level of work. Now, recommendations, you can see here, what you do with recommendations basically is you ask for a testimonial or an experience-based words of praise that someone can give you. Now, if you've never worked with clients before, a way to do this ethically is to ask your peers, your coworkers, maybe a past boss, maybe a friend or a family that can vouch for your character and your passion about marketing. Now, like I said, it can be a character-based thing. Your goal with your recommendations is to get as many as possible and to ultimately be showing that you're credible. You're not a scam artist who's just going to take people's money and run. Your goal is to get 2 to 3 solid recommendations from people who know, like, and trust you. After your recommendations, you're going to want to focus on your education. Now, keep in mind, education is a little bit of an iffy thing. You don't necessarily have to have a relevant education, but if you don't have any education that you're proud to put on your LinkedIn profile, that's where I actually highly recommend stepping it up in the volunteer experience area. This can be a great place to make up for lack of an education where you have shown excellence in volunteer work, in being excited or passionate about something, or committed for a period of time. Skills come up next. I really enjoy skills, even though they definitely have changed quite a bit. Basically, if you have skills that are related to anything not in marketing, I recommend that you switch those out. Add new skills until you have the top 10 in your profile focused on marketing, and maybe delete the ones that aren't valid anymore. So I personally have a lot that has to do with leadership, marketing, social media, and people go ahead and endorse me. So obviously, I have 99 plus on almost every single one of these. I'm a huge fan, though, of filling out your skill set with all of the different skills that you offer because it's going to show that you have expertise in this area. Because after all, you're going to become an expert. Next up, we have making your profile public. Now, this is really important because when you make your profile public, it gives people the ability to ultimately see your profile, connect with you, engage with you. So we're going to go ahead and click on my profile drop down here, click on settings and privacy. From there, we're going to go ahead and choose our site preferences. So when we dive on into the privacy settings, basically what you want to do is make your profile as public as possible. And also make sure to change your profile viewing options so that you can see and others can see when you visit their profile. You want that to happen because then they get curious and they can't help but go back to your profile to learn more. I also recommend sharing profile edits because from this point on, when you edit your profile, you're most likely adding more wins, you're adding recommendations, you're adding media, and you want that to go out to your network. So change this setting here, this is the most important part, as well as your profile viewing option. And lastly, we're going to dive on into articles, phase 10. Now with articles, the cool thing is you can definitely repurpose some of your old blogs. As I scroll on down to look at my articles and activity, we have quite a few decent articles that I've put together. Now, what I recommend with your articles is to ultimately create articles that deliver a ton of value. Like I said, if you have a blog already in marketing or social media, feel free to repurpose a post that is an article. But what I recommend is that you actually go ahead and craft an article. Now, if you're not sure how to do this, what I recommend is going to your home page, and from there you're going to see the option to write an article. Go ahead and write an article, and before you share it with your whole network, feel free to drop it in the SMU Crew Facebook group so that everyone can give you feedback on what they think about your new article and ways that you can make it better before you really share it with your network and go public with it. Are you ready? You've got the 10 steps that it takes to make over your LinkedIn. So it's time, go for it.